Wow, what lovely flowers. Thank you so much, I said while I jumped into my boyfriend Teddy's arms. He was the love of my life, and there was nothing anyone could do to tear us apart. You're welcome, Kaylee. Anything for you, my love muffin, he replied while he squeezed me tightly. I had never been this in love before. Well, I was only 17 years old, but I didn't believe that I could possibly love anyone else that much. I knew everything about him. His favorite color, food, place, thing, what he wore to sleep, what he ate for breakfast. I could go on and on. Despite the fact that he came from a poor family, he always found a way to surprise me with beautiful gifts. But before I continue, please don't forget to like my video and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any great stories. My parents hated Teddy. They had a lot of money and believed that I should be with someone in my social class. But why should loving a person depend on how much money they had? I believe that someone's personality mattered more. And Teddy had a perfect one, or at least it was perfect for me. But the first time I brought him home for dinner, they frowned the whole time and kept making disrespectful remarks. I was so embarrassed. Even though we were quite wealthy, I was never spoiled, and I was always taught to work hard for whatever I wanted. I worked 2 jobs, and I was paying to finish my bachelor's degree online. I chose to do it online because I didn't want to move far away from Teddy. Anyway, my 18th birthday was coming up, and I was super excited. I just planned to go out to dinner with Teddy. Nothing fancy, but on the day, my parents totally surprised me. When I woke up, the house was beautifully decorated with balloons and banners that said, "Happy birthday, Kaylee." I found this a bit odd because my parents were never that extravagant. When I got to the dining room to have breakfast, my parents were sitting there. "Happy birthday, darling. We have a wonderful surprise for you," my mom said. "You're really going to love it," my dad added as he passed me a big blue envelope. Okay, I said while opening it. There was a bunch of documents, and I really wasn't in the mood to read. "What's all this about?" I asked. "They're legal documents. We've bought you an island," my dad said with so much excitement I thought he was going to pop. "An island? You guys refused to buy me a cell phone last year, and I'm supposed to believe this? Is this some kind of joke?" I laughed. "No, it isn't. We've also transferred $500,000 to your bank account. We've admired that you are so hardworking, even though you don't really need to be. We believe that we've taught you all you need to know about responsibility, so now we are ready to share our little, or not so little, fortune with you. Now that you're legally an adult, think of it as our investment in your future," my mom said. I looked through the documents carefully this time and realized they weren't lying. Oh my gosh, I thought. This little island is located somewhere in the Pacific. We've already bought tickets for you and Teddy, so you can go there for a while to enjoy yourselves. There's a little beachfront house where you can stay. As soon as you arrive, you'll be shown where to go. My mom smiled. "You bought tickets for me and Teddy? I thought you hated Teddy. I didn't even know you guys had so much money. This is so confusing," I said. "Don't think too much. Go pack your bags and ask Teddy to pack his too. You leave tomorrow evening," they replied. I ran to my room to call Teddy to give him the news. "An island? Are you serious? What are you going to do with an island?" he asked. "Well, I'm not sure. Maybe I could build a hotel or something. Maybe I could sell it and use the money for something else. I don't know. Anyway, my parents have bought us plane tickets. We leave tomorrow night," I said. "Wow, this is so exciting," he said. We used the day to prepare for our trip. We bought a few things we thought we would need and packed a small suitcase because we both hated carrying too much stuff around. The next day, I could hardly contain my excitement. I felt like I was dreaming. Not only did my parents give me the best gift I could have ever asked for, but I was going on my first trip with my dear boyfriend. We would get to share a room and a bed and spend almost all our time together for days. I had never felt so happy. The plane rides and layovers took forever. Then we reached a large island and had to take a ferry to the small island, which was mine. When we arrived, it was midday. A well-dressed man was waiting where the ferry docked. He took our bags and asked us to follow him. Your parents employed me and 2 other helpers to take care of you during your vacation here. I'm Benjamin, he said. We walked for about 5 minutes, then arrived at a huge beachfront house. I thought my parents said this place was little. Wow, I exclaimed. It's a wonderful house and it's all yours. You've got a pool, a bar, a jacuzzi, and pretty much everything else you can imagine. I wish I could stay here all the time. Ha 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 ha. Benjamin laughed. My parents' gift kept getting better and better. It was surreal. Our first few days on the island were more than perfect. Teddy and I woke up in each other's arms every day. Then we'd enjoy the breakfast that was prepared for us. After that, we'd head to the beach, swim, snorkel, and then have a picnic on the sand. When we got back to the beach house, a 3-course lunch was already prepared for us, and we just laze around for the rest of the day. It was all I needed. Then one day, we got tired of our routine. Why don't we go exploring a bit? I don't know what most of this island looks like anyway, I said to Teddy. Sure, we'll go hiking, he said. We got ready and began exploring. Being surrounded by so much green was refreshing. The plants and trees were so fresh and different from what I was used to in the city back home. We walked further towards the interior of the island and away from the sea. The temperature changed and the air became more humid. I sat down for a while to catch my breath. Here, have a snack, love, Teddy said while handing me a granola bar. Thanks, I replied. As I lifted my head to take the bar, I saw a figure run behind him. I think there's someone here, I gasped. I got up and walked in the direction where I had seen the figure. Oh my gosh, Teddy, look! There's a whole village here, I whispered while staring in awe. We were on top of a little hill looking down. Below, there were about 15 small huts and several men, women, and children. They were dressed differently from us and looked quite happy. Let's go back before anyone sees us. We don't really know what they're like, Teddy said. I agreed and we quickly walked back to the beach house. After a most exquisite dinner that night, Teddy and I sat on the balcony looking at the stars. How can I own an island if people already live there? My parents forgot to mention that part. I don't think it's right, I said. We eventually went to bed because we were tired from such an exhausting day. Just as I was falling into a deep sleep, I heard a crashing noise. Teddy, wake up! What was that? I jumped. What? He groaned. I had no time to explain because at the moment our bedroom door was flung open and 3 huge men barged in. They looked very much like the natives we had seen earlier. I was frozen. They quickly approached us, tied our arms and legs, and then lifted us into their arms. Help! Stop! We both screamed, but no one heard. Not even the servants who should have been downstairs sleeping. I couldn't understand how all the noise hadn't woken them up. They carried us out of the house and walked through the bushes until they reached the little village we had seen earlier that day. We were taken into one of the little huts and thrown on the floor. Why have you brought us here? What have we done wrong? I cried. Please, let us go, said Teddy while shaking. They replied, but we couldn't understand what they were saying. I continued asking them to let us go, and eventually we were gagged so we wouldn't make any noise. All I could do was cry. I was so scared. We were left there for 3 days. Occasionally, the gags were taken off, and we were force-fed water and fruits. Then, on the 3rd night, I heard someone speaking English in the distance. The voice came closer, and I realized it was Benjamin. He was talking on the phone. He looked inside, and we pretended to be asleep. What do you mean, just the boy? We have both of them. Yes, we arranged to kill him. Yes, Mr. Adams, we will ensure that your daughter isn't hurt and that she is rid of that boy forever. Yes, 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 he said, then went silent. My stomach turned. Was this all a setup so my parents could get rid of Teddy? How could they do this? Teddy looked like he was about to cry. We had to find a way to escape, and I knew we were both thinking it, but we had no idea how. When there were no more noises outside, I started thinking. The only thing in the room was a lamp, and the fire was growing dim. It became clear what I had to do. I had to find a way to get to it and burn the middle part of the ropes which tied my hands together. It took a lot of struggling, and Teddy kept looking at me like I was totally insane. But I got my hands loose without burning my skin too much. I ungagged and untied myself and Teddy. "Let's go," I whispered. We got up and ran. When we got back to the house, it was in complete darkness. "Quick, grab your cell phone and let's go live. Let our followers know everything and get them to contact the police at home. If we have a hard time getting through this, at least they'll know where to search for us," Teddy shouted. I grabbed my phone and did as he said. Then we packed our bags and went outside to hide until the sun came out. After we went to the place where the ferry had docked when we first arrived on the island, there was nothing there. "How exactly are we going to get to the island with the airport?" I asked. "Look over there," he said while pointing to his small fishing boat. There appeared to be a little engine attached. "I'll use my phone to get the correct coordinates. Come on, let's go. I've never done this before, but we have no choice," he said. I fell more and more in love with him. "Teddy, you're so amazing. When we get back home, I want to marry you," I said. He smiled at me as we sped away in the boat. We made it to the island safely and went straight to the airport. We were able to purchase tickets right away and would only have to wait until the afternoon to leave. It was a long wait, but I felt grateful that Teddy and I were together and that we were alive. When we got back home, there were thousands of people standing there and so many reporters trying to interview us. Apparently, our live stream went viral, and everyone was concerned about our safety. I grabbed Teddy's hand, and he let go quickly. I wondered why. Suddenly, a beautiful girl jumped out of nowhere, straight into his arms. "Teddy, I missed you so much. I was so worried." He held on to her tightly and said, "I'll never leave your side again." Then they kissed. I nearly fainted. I stormed out of the airport and took a cab home. Later, I found out that he had been engaged to that girl way before he had even met me. He was only using me for money. He never really loved me. And the worst part of it all was that he never even bothered to reach out to me or to apologize. I instantly regretted my decision, which led to my parents' arrest. They had seen right through him and just wanted me to be with a better person. I should have left him on the island, which was never mine, by the way. I felt betrayed by everyone.